Here we go.
I already cracked mine. I was too early.
That's okay.
I
It's all right. Cheers,
All right,
fellas.
way
first time.
overshot it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Beer There Drunk That, our podcast about beer and life. For this week we had a little fun review in hand. We had Wildcard for our first one, which is not how I
Mhm.
intended it, but that's the glory of the wheel. Just as
Live
a
by the wheel,
reminder.
die by the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. It's our mantra. Just as a reminder, my name is Noah, but you can call me Donnie.
Keegan on the mic.
This is Luke with the bad audio.
The bodio.
The audio.
Um, yeah. I will say I was a little unprepared for the review this week, as I ended up drinking a 9.9% ABV beer on a Monday.
Attaboy. Attaboy.
But didn't have anything else going on, so looks like it was beer and video games.
A fine evening. Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that.
I
Um,
I did the same thing actually. Like I went shopping and I was like, wow, that beer looks good. So I grabbed it, and as soon as I cracked it, I was like, holy cow, that's a 10.5% beer.
tastes
And it,
like it.
and it'll sneak up on you.
Yeah, okay. It'll sneak up on you.
Yeah.
Running in, just square into a wall. It
Yeah.
sneaks up on
You'll sneak up on it.
hmm
you.
hmm
Yeah. So I guess what are we drinking right now, gents?
So I brought one back from last week. It's what I got in the fridge. A little Jenny cran orange Keller beer.
Hey,
Good one.
there it
Gotta
is.
represent the 585.
And then I'm actually, this is probably a call for help, but I've got two going right now.
Mhm.
I've got
Mhm.
my George Killian's Irish Red, which is just like a go-to red ale I enjoy a lot. But also I decided to experiment a little bit, and one of my tasting beers I kind of let sit, the last of it sit for a couple of hours, because this specific style can be a lot better when it's a little warmer and you can taste everything in it much better than you would if it's cold.
So you're trying to
Nice.
get it. You're trying to chew it, basically, is what you're looking
It,
for.
you know it. You know
Yep.
me too well, Keegan.
Yeah, I've got a Jago, which is a chicory amber ale from Azadi Brewing. Never actually had this beer before, so it's pretty good so far.
Sweet.
But it's from a place here in Milwaukee. They also have one in Chicago. It's called Pilot Project, and basically they're like a contract brewery. So they just have like a bunch of people who they brew beer for.
Oh, that's
Very
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, it's a nice place. Um,
Shout out Chi-Town.
yeah. So who'd like to go first? Who's got something that they're chomping to talk about?
I
Keegan?
honestly, I really enjoyed both of my beers this week.
Then get into it,
I actually
Keegan.
I drank them before the pod, so I got a little bit of a buzz rolling right now. As I said, I'll start with a heavy one. So what we have for you, gents, is tangerine peel laboratory, and this is by Equilibrium Brew from this one is in Middletown, New York. So actually right by, if you know where Route 84 and Route 17 intersect, right by Goshen, is right there. So that's Middletown. This beer is a triple IPA, and lives up to the name. Really, it does. So it's got a great orange scent as soon as you pour it out of the can. On the Instagram, you can see kind of the haze to it. So I do, as I mentioned last week, kind of like my hazy, juicy IPAs. That's kind of checks both of those boxes for me. Um, and honestly, I mean, at 10.5%, it does the job for you pretty quickly. Um,
I would think
so,
so, yeah.
Was that
yeah,
your
we'll start
first
with that.
beer or your second beer?
This was the first beer, so I was a little warm for the second beer, which I think was the right move. But um, no, I mean honestly, like I did enjoy this beer. It's something that it has like I hate to say sediment, but that's the best word I can have for it. Like when you're drinking it, you can see stuff kind of settling at the bottom, so you get a little twirl at the end, and then you get the good stuff in it as well. Um, so on my Untapped, I ranked this 4.25 out of 5. And yeah, I really enjoyed this beer. I would definitely drink a few of them and be
What's
done for
on
the
the
night.
front of the can there, Keegan?
So it's a juicer. Oh, I forget my camera's mirrored.
Oh, way
So
cool.
it's like an orange juicer there. So that's actually what initially drew me to the beer was the colors. Obviously, black and orange. You got to represent the Tigers,
Of
RIT.
course.
Um, but and it was just an interesting can. I love my citrus, so yeah, I was really happy with it. I also love that their slogan is "Beer balanced by science." So
Ooh,
we're
that's
getting
fun.
scientific up here.
There's a place out here that's like it's like thought provoking and like think tank type. It's called Enlighten Brewing. And so they
Hmm.
have like the Vienna Circle or the what is it, the Cream City Bricks and like the it's spelled Brix. And it's like a
Oh,
Bricks is like a it's like a higher thought thing because the guys had who started had like a an epiphany or something like that.
so that's smart guy beer.
Yeah. Well,
Brain food.
I'll go next with my high ABV beer. I got a tropical beer hug from Goose Island Beer Company down in
Oh, that's
Chicago.
outstanding.
They have a bunch of these different beer hugs. There's like neon beer hug and hazy beer hug and like West Coast beer hug. So it's a West Coast IPA. It's kind of like their flagship. They also do a really good wheat ale called 312 that you can get at Cubs games. You can get this at like most Chicago sporting events too. But it's 9.9%. It's just kind of like a juicy tropical beer. It says a beach vacation for your taste buds on it.
Hell yeah.
Um, my notes are
I
that it definitely is juicy. You know, it's like general fruit. You can't taste like an exact like fruit in there. I haven't put mine in Untapped yet, but in my personal notes app on my phone, I rated this around a 3 out of 5. It was good for an IPA, a little strong for a Monday.
So
But
it's
I
a. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I would recommend this for anyone who likes that like juicy imperials like you do, Keegan.
Okay. So it's a situational beer. You got to make sure you're careful when you use it.
Yeah, it's like a party beer or rally beer.
There
perfect
you go.
for
There you go.
perfect for lunch break at work.
hmm
No.
In the office.
Yeah.
Even better when you go to eat Chipotle in your car.
Yeah, exactly.
Keys
Really
out of the
heightens the
ignition
flavors.
because then you can't be arrested.
You're just stumbling at your desk, like tipping things over, papers flying everywhere, and your coworker's like, "You okay?"
Yes.
Yeah, man.
It's a great
I just
lunch.
I just got a nice hug on break. It was all good.
Yeah.
It was all
A
good.
beer hug.
Yeah, I thought the name was funny and it's a beer I've been meaning to try for a while. So
So
I
it's
kind of
perfect opportunity.
yeah, they do sell like regularly sell like the 19.2 ounce cans or whatever of these and like other tall boys and stuff. And I'm like, I can't drink that on like a Monday. Like
That
that's just gonna
that
ruin
sounds
me.
yeah, that sounds like a problem.
So I just I got a little 12er for it, but it was good. I whenever you guys get out to the Midwest, I would say definitely try some Goose Island beers. I know we've got some Chicago listeners out there already.
Woo woo.
I know I've had a stout, and it's in like a pretty big bottle, but my dad, uncle, and I will pick one of those bottles up occasionally, and that I think that might be the only thing that I've had from them, but it's fantastic. It's
Yeah, it's
a
like
safe bet.
Bourbon Barrel County or whatever,
Yep.
Bourbon Country. Yeah, they do like a yearly release of those. Like, it's like one of those like it's like a $30 like large bottle of beer that they release
Unfortunately,
on
yes.
That's
Black
I
Friday. Yeah, it's like a Black Friday
what?
Christmas beer thing. That's like a thing out
I've had
here. I don't know if you guys,
really.
yeah, like limited edition like released beers. Like there's a place out here called Mobcraft that their thing is crowdsourced beer. So they have I'll send you guys the link to the website, but
Absolutely.
you can suggest your own beer on there. So you can say, I want a pilsner that tastes like broccoli and corn, and if it gets enough like votes and stuff on there, like they'll make it.
Well,
What?
Yeah, it's
I
like
love when democracy fits hand in hand with beer making. That's
it's but anyway, they do a thing every year called Stout Fest where they just make like crazy stouts like throughout the year and release them on like around that time of year. And then other places here like you have to pre-order it. Like the Spumoni beer I talked about last week. We had to we pre-ordered a bottle of that for Black Friday and actually just recently cracked it open. So we aged it.
We aged it. There you
Yeah.
go. It makes it that much better.
But
Well,
yeah,
If I'm gonna be honest with you guys, if anybody ever got me a broccoli and corn flavored stout, I'm fighting on site. Like
it was
it's
a
just
pilsner
hands
that I
on the spot.
suggested.
A
I'll
pills. Oh my god,
I'll
I
have it
would.
in my flight. I'll try it, but
Nope.
It's a great place to go get a flight at, I will say.
That's yeah.
Like they had an interesting key lime pie flavored beer this summer. And
That sounds really good.
you could taste the graham crackers in it, which is crazy.
I want to consume my dessert in beer form. I ended up doing that.
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna work with my mom on making like a chocolate chip cookie beer.
Yes, dude.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
and
I think
even if
it
that
sounds
is
like
like
it's
the garnish, you have a
yeah.
chocolate chip cookie and it like a blue
It's,
moon with an
yeah, I
orange
was gonna
slice
say
on
instead of the orange slice, yeah.
it. But I was gonna
Specifically
say
your mom's chocolate chip cookie recipe though. Like it can't be other ones because your
it
mom makes the
has to
best
be.
ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Genesee and you talking about like voting or that Genesee had a vote this past year. They had four possible beer flavors. Um
I did vote in
and
that.
I did too. Keegan, did you get out to vote?
I didn't.
Did you get your
I'm a bad
sticker?
voter. I'm a bad voter.
So what you do is you vote, you get your sticker, and then you go to Susan B. Anthony's grave here in Rochester, and you
Hmm.
put it, you take the beer
Stamp that thing
label
on there.
and you put
Yeah.
it on.
Yeah.
Yep.
No,
Yep.
but yeah, there was I want to say there was apple flavor, there was a winter berry, there was another berry, and then there was pear cinnamon, which is what I voted for. Because again, I want the weirdest combinations. I want something that's gonna make me wonder what the heck I would be tasting, you know. Mm.
Yeah, that's
Although
cool.
pear cinnamon sounds pretty good. I think I could get down with a beer like that.
Yeah, well, I was in the minority, Keegan, because I completely
There's a
I
Citra Pilsner in there, I think too.
yeah, and I think that's the one that ended up winning.
Yeah, I think that was the most approachable beer.
Yeah.
So what do you drink, Luke? Tell us about your beer.
The first one that I tried was from Warhorse, which is
Oh,
out of Geneva, Geneva, New York. I really like everything that I've had from Warhorse, and they have a campus that's better, in my opinion, than Disney. It's got a winery on it. It's got a coffee place on it. It's got a distillery, a couple of shops. It's a really cool place. It's called Three Brothers Wineries and Estates, and then Warhorse is on there in like airplane hangars.
Yep. I have heard of that place.
So all their stuff is like peace and war general, like kind of related. But I had a white IPA, their Valley Forge. Um, I expected something very different than what it ended up being. Because it ended up being more of a wheat beer than it was an IPA, which I should have expected considering it says white, which is like supposed to be wheat or wheat beer.
The Stewie
Um,
Griffin beer.
yeah, wheat beer. um, but yeah, it was really really good. Um, Again, I was initially surprised because it was a lot sweeter than I thought it would be. It had a lighter body to it. Um, Once I kind of settled into beer, though, uh, the hops really complemented the wheat taste, and it came out with sort of an orangey. It's what Blue Moon would like to be. So,
mm,
like people who are trying to figure how does this beer compare to something that you'd find like really widely distributed, I'd say this is much much better than Blue Moon, but this is probably um, relatively close to that in what you can find out there.
hell yeah.
Interesting.
I love that.
Have you ever had have you guys either had a white IPA before? Because this is my first time like really hearing about them.
I haven't. The only white IPA I know is the ones that I drink. So
Yeah.
Hey,
Uh,
that's
um,
very true.
but I did have actually I uh when we had my grandfather's memorial service this winter, It was at a brewery, and there they had a black IPA, which I don't know if you guys have had that, but it's like the it was like a Schwarzbier, like a almost like a dark ale, like like a dark lager equivalent of it. So like it looked really dark, but it was just like straight IPA flavor.
Well, and that's what I was drinking last week was closer to what you were talking about. Is that black eye
The black
IPA?
eye rye, yeah. I remember
Yeah,
you said that, and I had meant to ask you, like, did you taste the rye in it? Like, does it taste like rye?
yeah. But I mean, being an IPA, it still has those qualities that people who really enjoy IPAs, that would be their go-to for sure.
Hmm.
And it's not as much of a bridge beer, I would say, which is what I would describe this one actually, Donnie. I think this would be perfect. The Valley Forge. I think in trying to get you to really cross over that bridge and be a true IPA fan, I think this would be a nice jumping off point.
Okay. Yeah, I was just pulling up the black IPA I had, and it was a so they're a New Hampshire brewery, and so a lot of them have like names like that. So this was the Live Free or Die Black IPA.
Love it.
It was like 8.3%. It was strong. But I am liking the IPAs more, like you said, Luke. It's the bridge helps, finding, like you said, like a jumping off point. I think I need to realize that for me, an IPA is going to be a sipping beer and not like
Mm.
a damn, I'm drinking beer.
I'm grabbing my tractor and I'm going to be working out with
Yeah,
this.
me and a 6 pack of Miller High Life bottles that disappears as soon as I go out onto the porch.
Yeah, listen, if you try deleting a 6 pack of a like high ABV IPA, you're going to end up doing crop circles in someone else's field.
Well, have you guys ever heard of Bell's Brewing? They're based out of Michigan.
Yes.
Two Hearted IPA is their big thing. But they do a beer every winter called Hop Slam, and it's like a 10% IPA. But like apparently a college kid like challenge in Michigan is the Hop Slam challenge, which is who can finish a 6 pack of it the fastest.
Oh my
Good God. Good God.
The jails are full for a full week after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, people aren't sober for the whole week afterward.
Yeah, it's like you end up there and you're what ends up happening is you have to lock your car keys in a locker beforehand.
Probably a smart idea.
No,
It's probably not a bad idea, honestly.
no, it's
God,
yeah, it's a buddy of mine that
that's
I work with said he tried it in college. He's like, nope, never again.
Well,
I mean,
actually, that Two-Hearted IPA is my dad's favorite IPA. That is a very drinkable one, or as my Beers of the World teacher back in college would say, it's Moorish. It's very Moorish.
it's moreish. So does that
Yeah,
mean the ones you can't hold on to, they're lessish, or
you,
like
that definitely could be. He didn't use the words, so that one
okay?
belongs to us at the very least. But
You've seen the can before, Keegan. It's got like a I think it's a bass on. No, it's got to be a trout,
yeah,
just
trout.
because of the lip on it. Which
Well,
I'm
I'll
wearing
be
a
honest.
fishing hat.
You could tell me it's a bass, and I'd be like, cool, sweet. It's a
Like,
pike, sure.
not a pike.
So no, I know. Although the pike have teeth. I always forget they have teeth, right?
Yeah, they're scary teeth.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're nasty.
Yeah, they're
Um,
ferocious.
Donna, do you want to do your second beer?
I think we're gonna take a quick break real quick,
Oh
and
yes, you're
then
right. You're right.
we
We're
gotta take
recording
a
this almost.
yeah,
Yep.
we gotta take a quick break, and then we'll be back shortly, but in a tall manner because no one's truly short here.
I
Yeah,
Um,
love
we're
that.
all
I love
tall and
that.
wait, yeah, the video isn't working quite yet, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
yeah, we're all about 6'4",
tall, dark, and
strapping.
handsome describes all of us. Strapping young lads. We wear suits every day to work.
Yep. Oh yeah,
You
clean
know,
Always.
shaven.
yeah. We wake up every morning, do 55 pull-ups, no sweat.
Lucky numbers.
I only did 53 this morning, so I was slacking a little
What
bit.
happened? You tweak your shoulder or something?
No, my tummy was a little upset, so I
Okay.
had to run. Yep.
Uh,
Tommy was a little upset.
All right, we'll be back in a little bit. to talk about our second beers. All right, everyone, welcome back to Beer There, Drunk That, where we beer here, and I'm not drunk yet.
I was wondering where that was going.
So was I.
You just kind
Michael
of start
Scott.
talking and hope you find the sentence
Yeah.
along the way.
No notes, just vibes. But yeah, so Keegan suggested I go second. So my second beer is from Youngblood Beer Company, and they did a collab with 608 Brewing Company, which this is out in Madison, Wisconsin. But this beer is called Raw Dog in Nature. Which I thought was great. It is a Moscow Mule style English summer ale with key lime and candied ginger. 4.5%.
That is a mouthful. That's a lot.
Oh my
going on.
god. I just saw the name and I put it in my cart. And then I was like, wow, this beer sounds like it wants to be everything and nothing at the same time.
How many combinations are too many combinations?
Like, could you have just said lime and ginger? Does it have to be key lime and candied ginger?
Good. Yeah. Oh my god.
But I will say, like, it definitely had that key limeness to it. Like, it was like the sweetness of the lime. It wasn't tart, but it tasted like lime. And the candied ginger I thought was pretty disappointing, actually, because it wasn't like, it tasted like ginger, but it wasn't snappy, which is what I like about ginger. You know, like, I just like, when you have a Moscow Mule, like, you like that snap of the ginger beer. And like, I recently had a ginger lemongrass Kolsch, which was really good. And it was good. Like, it was sharp. Like, like you're like, oh, I gotta sip this. Like, I can't chug it. Right. But it was really, really good. This beer was fine. It was like a 2.75 out of 5. Like, it was nothing special. It, like, obviously it's a summer ale and we're in the dead of winter. It was probably 35 degrees out when I drank this beer, perhaps less. Obviously I wasn't outside. I was in my home cooking. But it was fine. It was something fun and adventurous. And I thought that was the purpose of the wild card. I picked something for a silly name, and then I asked questions later as to what it tasted like.
I love that, Donnie. It does sound like a beer that's probably going to be better on a beach. But I'm proud of you. I like that. I like that.
It wasn't bad. I wasn't disgusted. Like, if someone gave this to me, I would drink it again, but I'm never gonna go buy it again,
Gotcha.
That's when you try and just make your home into a sauna. You blast the heat. If you have a fireplace, you just pack it full of wood. Wait till you got a decent sweat going, and then drink it. Maybe it'll be what you were looking for.
You just run all the sinks and faucets in your house, like your shower, just max heat, so it's just steamy.
Yeah.
We'll have to keep a running tab of the beers that are like free beers only, meaning like never will you ever pay for it again.
I like that. We put it into a tier list.
Drink it again. You know what I mean? I think that's how we're gonna have to separate it. But
I'll organize that in our spreadsheet. I'll make it so it's like, we can put tiers in there. Like, all right, like, we had this beer. It was for the wild card episode, and it was a, wouldn't buy, would decline, which is, I think would be hard for any of us.
Would decline. Yeah, I do have a tough time declining beers.
Yeah. Right.
And then Luke finds his beer, and it just don't ever drink this beer.
Yeah. All right, Keegan, let's have you go next.
All right.
I'm excited.
All right. This one is for my fellow Irishman, Luke. This is from Zero Gravity in Burlington, Vermont. This is an Irish cream porter. And let me tell you, I very much enjoyed this beer. It honestly, like the start of it feels like a Guinness, which is sacrilegious to say, I know, because it's not a Guinness. But I think it has a very similar consistency. It's very smooth. The way that it's kind of like, and I mentioned last time, like, I don't love strong coffee flavors, and this kind of hits like just enough for me. It's like a 5.5%. Honestly, I think it's a perfect like end of fall, early winter beer. Because it's kind of that nice transition point between like a a summer like hazier IPA at the end of summer, but not quite a heavy like stout for the dead of winter.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and I also just love that it has like Tahitian vanilla and cocoa nibs as what it was brewed with.
Yeah,
So
I do love
um,
seeing that on beer cans when they like will sprinkle that word in there, and it's,
yeah,
I don't.
just to make it sound exotic.
Yeah, I don't even honestly know what the hell a cocoa nib is. I could not picture it in my mind at all. If either
They're,
one of you know, if you could.
they look like natural, like more natural, like cocoa pebbles. Like I've bought them before for my
Mm.
stepmom, for like baking and stuff. But yeah, it's like a roasted like little piece of cocoa, and like you can snack on them, I guess. But it's like they're definitely meant to be like you like put it in like
Used
a
in
beer,
Put
something.
it
or
in
like
something
your hot cocoa or in your coffee or something.
interesting.
Did
Okay,
it
cool.
taste like
Yeah.
Bailey's? Like, because it says Irish cream. Like, did it have like that?
So that would be my only critique of the beer is I didn't really get in my taste like a heavy Irish cream presence. Um, Not that there wasn't any, but like it definitely had some of that silkiness that you'd expect if you had like a Bailey's or something like that. Um, but I didn't get like a strong flavor of an Irish cream. So that would be my only note of it. Nonetheless, and again I think I might be too generous on Untapped. I don't know. I gave this one also a 4.25.
But I
Um,
mean, if you really liked the beer, like if the fact that it didn't taste like Bailey's like didn't detract for you, like give it that rating, man. You know, you're
Yeah,
yeah,
happy.
yeah. So that's what I mean. Like I think if I got Bailey's in this, it's a 5 out of 5 beer.
But if it said
Um,
so, but if it said just like Irish porter, would it be different?
yeah,
Like, would you view
it'd
it
be a
differently?
4.25. No, it'd
if
still
it
be a
was
4.25.
Okay.
advertised more accurately,
Yeah, like it didn't say the
that
word
makes
cream,
sense.
because I
Yeah,
like my mind went like, oh, is it like a Bailey's or a Carolyn's or whatever
that's
off
yeah. So that's
brand?
what I was expecting. So and it wasn't there. So that's the only reason it's not like a at least a 4.75
Mhm.
for me.
Did
But
have a question for you guys. Like when you guys go and buy like single beers like this, like how's the setup at your store? Like, because for me, it's a grocery store that just has like fridges of just like one-off beers that you can get, and they just like put a little six pack in there, and it, or you can buy like these. I bought singles of, and they were like 189 a piece.
so mine, I went to Vinyl Beer on 96th, and it's kind of a similar setup. I mean, it's literally like sliding glass doors. So, like if you went to a gas station, we're getting like Gatorades, same
Mhm.
setup for a fridge. They have it set up so like they actually go not really in order, like lightest to darkest, but like they'll have some like sessions and some pails, and then you get into like the IPAs, the porters, the stouts, all kind of divided out. And then it's actually cool. They added in a new like tasting area, so you can actually there's like a bar you can like sit at now and taste. Um, so yeah,
That's pretty
it's kind
cool.
of like you just
Yeah.
grab like the clicker of the four thing and then
So so
snap it in.
I've been to that place a couple of times when I've visited you, obviously, Keegan.
Hmm.
That is where I offended the owner because because I said I picked up a bottle and it was other half, which I like a lot, and they have a location in Bloomfield or West Bloomfield, I don't remember which one, over
Yeah.
by Irish Mafia. And so I'm looking at it, I go, "Oh, other half. Yeah, that's over like Bloomfield area, kind of Western New York." And he goes, "Well, no, actually they originated in Brooklyn. They're from here." And I go, "Oh, oh, okay. I didn't. I apologize. I didn't know." He goes, "Yeah, they're from here. People make that mistake all the time. It's not from there though. It's from here." I go, "Oh,
Oh, okay.
okay.
Cultural appropriation.
Yeah, I'm I'm so sorry. I've clearly overstepped here.
I mean, I guess he's just trying to defend his neighborhood, but yeah,
He did a good job.
Oh,
they scared you enough, I guess, right?
yeah,
Oh, I'll go back though.
you go around correcting people. It's actually
Yeah.
not from there.
Yeah, now I get to pretend like I'm the one who knew that from the get-go. But
Let me
I
get
get
my
Yeah.
notes
really
here.
aggressive with it. Um, so around us, and actually in Henrietta, we have Beers of the World, which is a really huge place. Wegmans was in that location when it was first in Henrietta, and then it moved down the street to a bigger one. But just to put that to scale, it's a giant location. They have it split up by region of the, US, by state or by county, and then um they have different countries and continents, and it's a really cool setup, and also distracting at times because I'll go in for a certain thing and I'm going through the aisles like it's an IKEA, and I keep going, oh, picking stuff off, and then I'm like, what did
Oh,
I
piece
come
of
here
candy.
for? I don't remember why I originally came in here.
That's
I feel
cool.
like that's a terrible place for you to shop, Luke. Like, if you need something, like you got to go in like with a mission.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh
putting
yeah,
me in a
it's
record store.
dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So what's your other beer, Luke? What do we got?
My other beer I had a lot of fun with. Um, it it caught me off guard, and you'll see in the video, like my live tasting or whatever, that I expected it to be good, but then I was legitimately caught off guard by how good it was. Um, so it is from Resurgence over in Buffalo. I I like Resurgence a lot. I also embarrassed myself there. I embarrassed myself a lot of places apparently, um but
I can
uh
attest.
but this is a bourbon barrel aged imperial sponge candy stout.
Oh,
Sponge candy.
Sponge candy. Yeah. Yeah, I did I watched the movie before I read the book with this one for sure, because I am not all too familiar with actual sponge candy. So I had my first real sponge candy experience through this beer. It was freaking awesome. The smell advertised the taste of it perfectly, I thought. Um, again, I let it warm a little bit so I could really get all the flavor out of it. But sweet chocolate, Whoppers, caramel, those were the things I was really picking up from it. It
wow.
was dessert in a freaking can. It was 10 out of 10. I would have this again if I found it somewhere, which I happen to find at Beers of the World. So,
How strong is it? Like, what's the ABV on it?
10%. I'm feeling pretty good.
Oh.
You're feeling 10 out of 10 right now.
Yeah, right?
Uh,
And
Oh,
actually,
so it's
Sponge Candy was my nickname in high school, so that was perfect.
I thought
It's
that was
wonderful.
SpongeBob's stripper sister. Sponge candy
Yes, that was it.
uh, at the whatever the strip club in the Bikini Bottom would be. The Bikini Bottom would be a great strip club name, but that's
I
already
th
the name of the city.
Yeah, that's the
yeah, that'd be
entire
tough. That'd be
region.
tough.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
nation.
it's like the classy cat, but you gotta, I don't know,
Yeah,
the classy kiwi or something.
yeah. Tally ho, tally
Tally ho.
sponge.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
you remember the story about Tally Ho? How I was in I think second grade, and Tom Polka, if you remember him, Keegan, great guy. But he was telling me that his dad was going to take him out to eat for his birthday. They were going to go have dinner somewhere, and I remembered reading Tally Ho. And so I suggested that, and he definitely suggested that to his dad, because when he came in after, he goes, "Yeah, my dad said that's an adult place, so we didn't eat there."
Well, because that's the one like next to the Jimmy John's, right?
Yeah.
Wait,
Right?
next to the
Off
Jimmy
Off
John's.
Jefferson, right?
Oh, on Jefferson
Yeah.
there. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Oh
Yep.
my God.
Wow.
That's an adult place. Luke still can't go there. He's got to go with his dad.
Yeah. Well, because isn't it in New York State? They're all juice bars, right? They can't serve alcoholic drinks, so that's why Luke can't go there.
I don't know. Yeah, right.
I've
I
never
wouldn't be
been,
caught
so like
dead
Yeah.
there.
that's what my buddy told me is that they're all juice bars in New York. So like they
I
can't
don't
be
know.
because I don't think you can be full topless and serve alcohol.
What? So here's the thing. All right,
But you
here's
can
the
be
thing.
full topless and serve mocktails or
Right,
Heineken
right.
zero
So
zeros or
no, so
whatever.
And if you
I'll
bring
tell you
your
what
own
the
flask in, and then
Yeah.
no.
so there's a bar down here called Jeremy's. It's down like way down. I think it's on the I want to say it's like basically like west, like below the West Village, almost all the way down to like Fidei. And it's this place called Jeremy's. And so one of the things they're known for, and I know I'm gonna say this wrong in our tens of followers will probably correct me at some point.
We all know.
But what their thing is like, they have bras just hanging up all the way around, like from the ceiling on the wall, it's just bras pinned up everywhere. So my question is, how is it different going to a gentleman's club, we'll call it, and not drinking versus going to a regular bar and then people take off their bra anyway? So I don't know.
Maybe because they're not employed.
A double standard to me.
Not employed.
There you go.
Because they're paying to be there.
Paid.
They're paying customers.
That's true. That's true.
That's our thoughts on strip clubs, guys. You can tell we're really into them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have to be careful because Luke did do a stint at the Classy Cat before it closed, so we want to be a little bit respectful.
Yeah. I was
a residency.
A residency, yes.
I did my co-op there.
Around here, like the Midwest strip clubs are a thing. There's one that's not that far from me. I've never been, but they advertise it on the highway, and I got so confused because it's called On the Border. Their logo is OTB, and it looks like the off-track betting logo, which I've seen a million times because that used to be next to campus in college.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, there's an off-track betting here. And then I'm like, it says like better girls, better drinks, something like that. And I'm like, don't know if that's what off-track betting is known for. But they advertise like when like certain, I guess, famous strippers or whatever come through. And they're like, oh, like Luke.
It's the one name, like Madonna.
Yeah,
Luke.
It's like the Grand Ole Opry of strippers.
Yeah, exactly. Weekly specials live. Oh, incredible, Luke.
Good God.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the sponge candy stout was awesome. That
was a wild ride we took there.
What exactly is a sponge candy? Is it like you said, like Whoppers? Like, is it like just like malted milk balls?
I have no clue.
Let's Google this.
I was perplexed, to say the least, by the name. I imagined a Whopper kind of fit. I mean, I definitely feel like toffee. I tasted that, but it was very good.
It sounds like sponge candy is like a buffalo type name for it.
Interesting.
That sounds about right. I feel like I've heard of sponge candy before. I've just never like.
I know Andy's Candies has it.
Sponge toffee in Canada, sponge candy in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, St. Paul, Minnesota, Northwest Pennsylvania, and Western New York. But it's like that honeycomb candy, like you get like in that episode of Squid Game when they had to poke the candy shape out.
Oh,
that's what that is.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
Well, it was great. Okay, I hope it tastes in reality like this does, because I could drink a couple more of these and sleep real well.
Now, is that one of the best beers you've ever had in your life, Luke? Like, where is it on our now artificial tier list that we are making up on the spot?
Is there a category, or can there be a category of I would show my friends and family this?
Ooh, I like that. I like that. Would let this beer meet your family kind of thing.
Yes, would let this beer meet my family.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. That would go on that list. One of the best beers I've ever had. I don't know. I'd have to kind of sit on it for a little bit. I'd have to have it maybe another time.
Okay.
But it's like a classic movie, like one that you intend to show your children, where you're going to see it again. But
yeah, you watch
it a little while.
You watch it and you're like, I will come back to this in the future.
Yes.
Luke, that's just such a great analogy. I love that.
Yeah, very literary.
I'm not gonna lie. I sobbed like a baby between when I tried it and here. So no.
Well, that's good.
A lyrical magician.
Lyrical magician.
I had I've been slowly getting into like the bourbon barrel aged beers, because I don't love bourbon. I probably said that last episode, but I like that they're a sipping beer sometimes, where you don't have as big of a pour of it if you get it somewhere, and you can kind of sip on it. It's going to be strong. Mm-hmm. But I had the 12 Dragons last week at Sprecher Brewing, and that's like a bourbon barrel aged beer, and it was just buttery. Like, it was just smooth and like that sweet and chocolatey. It was very good.
Yeah, a great stout gives you a medical emergency halfway through drinking it. It's just
You feel like you've gained weight.
Yeah, honestly, I
It's
definitely
hard to get up.
if you're ever doing a case race or a beer mile, stouts are the exact opposite of where you want to be on that spectrum.
Yeah, that's very true.
Have you ever looked up like the stats of like what the most popular beers are on beer miles though, Keegan?
No,
Because
I
it has
can't
to
say
be
I have.
5% for it to count. They all drink
Oh,
them warm
really?
because they go down quicker and they do like the swirly thing in a bottle. But it's like Sierra Nevada IPA or Sierra Nevada Pale Ale is like a big one. PBR.
Oh,
I
here we
think
go. All
Miller
right,
High Life.
the four best brews for running a beer mile from Runner's World.
Yep. Sierra Nevada's going to be in there probably.
Let's see.
PBR.
So they've got, yeah, it has to at least hit 5%. So Budweiser,
Bud Heavy.
as in Bud Heavy,
Yeah.
PBR,
Yep.
That's gotta be
Amsterdam
it.
All Natural Blonde.
Okay.
That's an interesting one.
That one
Bud Light
surprises me.
Platinum,
Isn't that like even
and that's
stronger
5.
than isn't that like
Yeah, that's
6
a
or
higher.
7%?
Yeah.
That I
Yeah.
don't know if I could do the Bud Light Platinums.
Well, so okay, hold on. So it goes down like yeah. So it's a 6% ABV with the Bud Light Platinum, but it's just gonna go down like a light beer.
Okay.
Interesting.
So do with that what you will.
I can't say I've had
So
a lot of those.
once we get big enough, we're gonna do a BTDT sponsored beer mile. We in?
So
Yes, you have to run it, Luke.
I was gonna say, I can't if the audio is still not synced with the video, then I can say I'm an avid runner. I'm so all those beers on that list when I run,
Luke,
I hit all of them.
Let's straighten one thing out though. I am the only one on this podcast that never ran competitively.
That is true, actually.
So I am at a disadvantage. I am at a disadvantage.
I will say though, running competitively is putting it very nicely because
you ran socially.
I ran socially. Yeah. Yep. That's exactly it.
The other reason that I think you're at an advantage for this, you told us you used to drink glasses of milk before races.
I did. Those were dark
That's
days.
psychotic. That's
Those
psychotic.
Dark days, indeed.
Luke, would you rather drink a glass of milk or a glass of beer?
Glass of beer now. I've made that transition.
Okay. Because when I first met you, milk was still up there.
I mean, yes, it was. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I met you. You introduced him. Hi, my name's Luke. My favorite beverage is milk. My favorite food is popcorn, and I can only sweat out of one armpit.
You remember that?
Why wouldn't I remember when we'd do stuff in college and you'd just be one armpit would just be soaked and the other would be bone dry.
Thank you to collarbone injuries.
That just sums up Luke so perfectly.
Yeah, and I remember it all these years later.
Yeah,
I mean, it's been 7 years now.
Yeah, I mean, you could sub in beer for milk, but otherwise, I think it's still spot on.
Oh yeah, 100%. Popcorn has not moved anywhere on that list.
Not even since you got adult braces.
Yeah. Yep. A broken bracket from Tully's Popcorn later, and I.
And it was worth it. It was worth it.
It was. Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, gents. How about we spin this wheel real quick?
Well, first, all right. Can I hit you? Can I hit you with a question of the week first?
Yes, of course.
Oh,
Do that while I'm pulling up the wheel.
All right, so boys, the question this one, we want to get philosophical on this podcast. So what I'm going to leave you with is a hot dog a sandwich? It's a simple yes or no answer. I think there's a lot of depth to it. There's a lot of substance to it. Why don't we think on it and then we can discuss maybe a little bit. Unless Luke, you look like you have a snap decision, but
I'm locked in.
Oh, okay, all right.
Locked in.
I guess. All right. Let's see the wheel. We can discuss next week.
Yeah, there'll be a poll on Spotify. So go there and answer that. Message us on Instagram, comment on our Instagram post. We're going to be posting what we call the first sips, which is going to be our initial tastings of each beer, so that way you can take a look at them, we can show them off, and you can get snap reactions. Like if we really hate something, if we revolt to it, you're gonna see it.
You're gonna get doxxed.
Yeah.
There's nothing about it.
All right, I've clicked spin on this wheel. Round and round it goes.
Let's see it. Come on, give me
Are
something
you
good.
kidding me? It
No
hit
way.
Wildcard again. No,
No
we're
way.
not doing
I
that.
think we're
Okay,
gonna have to
no.
respin. We gotta respin.
Clicking hide choice, so
All
it
right,
doesn't
all right.
happen. We can't do this.
Wow, what are the odds of that?
I
Someone
know.
calculate
If-
the stats on it.
Yeah.
That's how we find out it was rigged the whole time.
Belgians.
All right.
Belgian. All right.
So
Okay.
like a double, a triple, quadruple, you know, like the Belgian strong ales. Wee heavies, I think they call them sometimes.
Yeah,
I'll be
this,
honest. I don't know if I ever had like a Belgian beer.
You ever
You're
had
gonna like it.
the Victory Brewing beers, anything that has monkey in the name?
No, I haven't. So that's that when
You
I
should
was
go
exposed
look
to
for those.
Yeah, that's when Ando was like, yeah, it's like drinking the tree. I'm not drinking this free beer, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, because I think I
Okay.
first had one because I think it was like one of our like end of college parties. Luke bought me like a 6-pack of sours, and the first beer I drank that night was the Victory Sour Monkey, which is like their sour Belgian beer, and it's like 10.9%, and it just tastes like juice.
That sounds phenomenal to me.
Yeah,
The one of the better experiences that I've had with like a, I think it was a triple, was watching it explode at a Belgian brewery that I was at called Ardennes, also in Geneva. It exploded on the shelf, and my dad and I went, "Yeah,
I'll
we're
have
picking
it."
up one of those."
Give me one of those.
one of my coworkers was telling me recently, he's from China, and he went back to visit his family or whatever, and it was so his favorite food in the world is hairy crab, which is like a delicacy in Shanghai. And so his like I think it was his brother, his cousin, and his friend like all ordered him a case of hairy crab, like each individually. So he had like 3 pounds of like fresh crabs
Oh
to
my
eat.
God.
And he was, you know, he's like our parents' age, you know, so he's in his 50s. But he had these and he's like, well, it's you can't have it without beer. So he said to me he ordered like online, you know, he did like whatever like the Drizzly equivalent is for China. Rest in peace, Drizzly, because that's gone now. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Wait, really? Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
I didn't see
Uber
it.
Eats shut it
R.I.P.
down,
Drizzly.
pretty
That's
sure.
crazy. That's crazy.
Anyway, he ordered some beers, you know, and he likes IPAs and stuff, and he likes them heavy. Like we've been on work trips together before, and he likes to order those. And he ordered like some like Belgian quadruples, like pure like Belgian monk beer, and he was like, that was insane.
It was
So,
intense.
yeah, so I think I'm gonna have to
Okay.
make a trip one of these days and go on an adventure to Total Wine and see what they've got for Belgians, because I don't know what the
Yeah.
wood
Yeah.
meat selection's gonna be.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm excited for this one
Very
because
good.
that's a
I
type of beer I haven't really explored, and clearly
Yeah,
you haven't either, Keegan.
I'm definitely interested. I'm definitely interested.
Like
I'm brainstorming now, so we'll have
they're
to see.
they're high ABV usually because that's why they're like double or triple.
Gotcha.
But they're they're not they're not nearly as crushable as like a imperial IPA, you know.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
they're a sipping beer. They're a fun beer, you know.
Yes.
I
They're
think
they're a lessish beer.
yeah,
A
I think
Lessish beer.
yeah,
Okay.
this is gonna be like a Saturday night me just getting after it, you know.
Gotcha. Yeah, it'll be a warm up for the night ahead.
Yeah.
For science.
Well,
For science.
I think that's it. That's our episode for this week. So we'll bid you
right.
all farewell, and we'll be back with our beers. You know, check out our Instagram. You know, like I said, we'll be posting the video of our first sips to go along with each episode, so that way you can really see, you know, what our thoughts are, and we hope you enjoy and, you know, leave some comments and feedback. You know, let us know how we're doing. You can't see our ugly mugs yet, so that's pretty good. But,
That's gonna help the ratings a lot. That's
yes.
gonna help the ratings a
It
lot.
buys us some time.
I'm waiting for when eventually I figure out how to edit video and they just like someone says like, wow, Keegan is way more punchable than I thought he was gonna be. All right. Cheers, my
All
friends.
right, boys. Yes,
Have a good
sir.
one.
Cilantro.